Oh, what a life, what a life. The words of the great Sugar Aloes boy. Really phenomenal song. Deep. Sugar Aloes really was able to encapsulate the times at that point in time, but the times that continue as well, the times that we face as well. So much has changed and yet so much has remained the same. And mankind is the root of the issue, and all of the evil that we allow to direct our behavior. This Thursday morning, we are greeted, for those who pay attention to the international news, we're greeted with the pronouncements that there has been an agreement on the first stages of a peace deal in Palestine. And thus, people are looking forward to, and you see the images of some type of relief. Can't call it celebration too much in the devastated Palestinian area of Gaza, but in the other Palestinian area occupied by Israelis, you know, because they look forward to the release of some remaining hostages, they toast and celebrate. And just in the imagery that exists, it paints a picture, and a lot is still to be confirmed and negotiated between the two parties, but it is being heralded as an extremely positive step. Of course, a ceasefire and an end to what is taking place is the desire of so many people across the world, and indeed in Trinidad and Tobago. So it is big news. It is extremely big news. And my mother sent me a quote from Bob Marley last night. How difficult is this? How do you achieve justice when the people who administer it are the evil ones, you know? How do you achieve peace when there is no justice, when there is the absence of justice? And it takes me even to Kwame Ture. You know, you may see a period of time where you describe what is taking place and people's actions as being peaceful, but it's not really the reality of peace. It is sometimes a pause, but without justice, you know, the real underpinnings of peace cannot be established, and human progress and life collectively cannot come to fruition. So we must mention that one because it is dominating the world headlines, international news, of course. A lot of commentary on it, significant pressure being placed upon the Israeli president by Mr. Trump and others. A deal brokered in Egypt with the support of Turkey and Qatar and others, and also immense international pressure as well. Immense international pressure on Israel. Good Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Morning.
Hey, morning.
What shall I render, Jehovah? For he has done so very much for us. What shall I render, Jehovah? For he has done so very much for us. Thank you.
And thank you very, very much. What we absolutely need more of in the world, of course in our space as well, more love, genuine love. It is essential for those who dictate the processes of the world to be people of justice, people of truth, people of God. And in the absence of that, you find evil, chaos, wickedness, oppression, advantage. Oh gosh, the advantage card done. Distress, pain, death, destruction, inequality, suffering. To an extent that is not normal or natural or unnecessary at all. But God is the greatest and He knows all things, and we as human beings, as members of this wider humanity, we work together, we advocate together, we stand together for what is just and what is right. We must continue to do that. And many of us have had an impact. We have truly had an impact collectively to educate across the world. I think there is a heightened sense of consciousness. Maybe there is a level of lack of empowerment by the people themselves. They feel as though they understand and they see and they know, but they can't do much about it. But even in that understanding, there is a real benefit for our future. Even in that awareness, they have to now work on dumbing us down, right? They have to work on rewriting history. They have to come to try to lie to us for us to believe them again. Because many eyes have been opened. Many people across the entire world have been able to rise up collectively and realize that they are not alone, and realize that even in the actions that they take, they have a certain level of power. And that in itself is a positive and is a blessing. So people across the world looking on to see how this situation continues to unfold, and there is some sense of relief, I'm sure, for people waking up. The ceasefire hasn't really taken effect totally. The Israelis still continuing to some extent, but I'm sure there would be some relief with those who are, starving, struggling, looking for just a morsel of food to survive. The constant pummeling, a little lightning and thunder yesterday, and some people were um, very, very afraid. We're shaking up a bit. Imagine that tenfold and literal destruction taking place all around you. Death, destruction. So a sense of relief somewhat through Palestine and also by extension throughout the world. We said we would have a little bit of a conversation just around what the budget to come really stands for. We would have explained and just touched into the fact that, like your home budget, if you do a home budget, many of us may shy away from that as well. With the challenges of income, you have nothing to budget in terms of expenditure. That's how rough it could be, and that is how challenging some people face this period of time. But even before, there are people who have been challenged and trying to catch themselves for quite a period of time. But it is very much like your household or whatever endeavor you have to look at what exists in terms of money for you. For the country, it is what exists in terms of revenue, what we are able to raise from taxes, right? And not just there are taxes that are placed upon every single citizen. Value-added tax, for example, once you purchase something, part of the proceeds go towards the state, but also companies pay taxes, individuals pay taxes on their income. Of course, they are encapsulated in companies, but I will mention them separately as well. Entities such as the ones that are involved in the oil and gas sectors, they also, their profits, if they are state enterprises, go to the state. Their losses also are dealt with by the state as well, covered by the state. And some companies as well pay different types of taxes towards our basket, our overall revenue. There are times in which we have had the ability to put away, and some inflows go into this thing called the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. It is a fund of extra savings, so to speak. And also, in many instances, and as is the norm with many countries as well, there's a level of borrowing that takes place. Borrowing from international agencies, borrowing locally as well from entities and people, right? Because people make up entities as well. Right here locally in Trinidad and Tobago, taking up some of the liquidity, utilizing some of the savings that citizens also have. There's obviously a balance that can be met when you have a budget. You have $50 and you spend $50 and that's it, right? However, the economics that prevails nowadays for most countries is that they spend more than the revenue that comes in. Certainly it has been the constant trend for us in Trinidad and Tobago. We justify that because we state that we are investing, whether it be in infrastructure, whether it be in processes that we calculate will bring back revenue or that are essential at this point in time. So there can also be a surplus which I don't know anybody, any country that does that at the moment. There probably are, maybe, and I'll probably take a look to see. But you spend less than you bring in, right? That's an amazing feat that maybe one day we can achieve in Trinidad and Tobago if we seriously put our shoulders to the wheel and aspire to such, but not just achieving a surplus, but achieving a surplus while meeting the infrastructural, social needs that our country has. That would be phenomenal. So those are some of just the little basic outlines. We up to the hour, so we'll take the break and then we'll come back and go through some little basic outlines and take some views as well. All right, so stay locked on. We'll be right back.
Breakout and blood toucheth blood. Remember, every Sunday from 7:05 a.m. to 8:55 a.m. for the program God's Last Warning Message with Gospel in the Bones Ministry, right here on the street 919 FM.
Are you searching for answers to life's questions? Those things that disturb and concern you the most? Why all the wickedness? Why the suffering in the world? Will it end? Who is responsible? Well, if so, join us right here on The Street 91.9 FM every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. with Brother Samuel Gooding and Roland White, where we open the Bible and find answers to all these things and more. For it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God.
What are you doing? Big D, big fun, KFC, so we big on the ground. The big nation, cause you don't know we were the crown. Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Come to KFC, let we hold our vibe, and let we join together, because KFC is life. It's a big deal.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Big deal.
The safest bet in Trinidad heads to the shores of Pigeon Point, Tobago. Army Vet Tobago. Sirens and Stallions.
Yes, sir.
The undisputed king of events for Tobago Carnival 2024 is back. Bigger, safer, and beachier. On Thursday, 23rd October, from 3 p.m., calling all Sirens and Stallions, march down to Pigeon Point Beach for the biggest lineup for the season. Lyrical.
Like you get so tell me why you're rocking.
Nyla Blackman, Young Brother. IWER George, Mikal
Everybody charge up, we going higher.
Orphanal, Psy-King Ding Dong.
I wanna party.
Dev, J-Del, Whitix. 2025 Soca Champion Sucre, Tobago's very own Juby, and more. Big DJs, and hosted by the one and only Junior Lee. Beachfront early birds, $250. A Calvary all-inclusive VIP deck, $800. Get your physical tickets now. Available at all advertised ticket outlets. Army Fit Tobago. Thursday, 23rd October. Powered by Awesome Sounds, Wiggins Effects, and Candyland Carnival.
The presence of oxygen is absolutely the absence of disease. Most chronic diseases that plague us are not happening to us, but it's happening within us. We're literally eating ourselves to death, which means we're not living longer, we're dying longer. Join fitness expert Aloy Johnson, the founder of the healthiest corner on earth, located at number 92 East Drive, Chamflo, every Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. live on The Street 919 FM, where he shows you that healing the body's temple is easier than anyone would have led you to believe.
The Gap Man Limited specializes in products that cater to all your health needs. The Male Enhancement Package targets the areas of the body that contribute to erectile dysfunction. The Male Enhancement costs $1,400. The Gap pills are priced at 250 pills for $500 and 500 pills for just $900. For the best in eye care, get the super combination of a Super Bright and the Body Healer. To improve the heart's function and circulation, get the Gap pills and Formula C. To get a total body cleanse daily, use the Gap Body Healer and Big C, all for a super low price of $1,300. To order your products from the Gap Man Limited, call 628-4531 for products that cater to all your health needs.
For more info, contact 476-7268.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Hi there, I'm Lester Suglal, inviting you to join me on the first, second, and third Saturday, 8:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the program Slow Gospel Music, and on the fourth and fifth Saturday from 8:30 p.m. for an extended version of Slow Gospel Music on Street 91.9 FM.
The Embassy Yacht is back and ready to transform your events into unforgettable experiences. Launched from Kings Wharf, San Fernando, the perfect starting point for an epic experience of luxury, music, and celebration on the open water. By booking our vessel, your event will include a house DJ, state-of-the-art sound system, fully stocked bar, dedicated cleaning crew, top-notch security. This isn't just a venue, it's a floating masterpiece designed to make your event the talk of the town. Imagine your guests dancing under the stars, drinks in hand, with breathtaking views of the coastline as your backdrop. From birthdays to corporate events to exclusive parties, the Embassy Yacht offers promoters a unique platform to create unforgettable memories and boost your brand's reputation. Call or WhatsApp 399-5959 or email embassycruises@gmail.com.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
And we are back. Good morning again, Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, we started it. I think I might have missed it. We always try to start by giving praise to the Almighty Creator, right? And we give thanks for this day that we have. We do the best to learn. We do the best to try to serve our fellow men in whatever field that we are involved in. So, as I was saying just before the break, we have a basic understanding of what a budget is, some even our own perspectives when we have income, and then obviously we utilize that income hopefully in the best possible way. Of course, you could have income in a personal sense and mess it up, squander it, do things that are not important and obviously end up without the resources necessary to do what is important or even to sustain your future. Right? You could borrow and then not pay back or not have the ability to pay back because you borrow and you don't use that money for investment and development so that you are able to earn in the future. All these things are possible in a personal sense and also from a perspective of a country or a nation. And trust me, all of these things have happened with other countries. To a lesser extent, we as well have had, in my opinion, certain failures in the way that we utilize the tremendous resources, the booms that we have had in the past. There are positives. There are definitely things that we could look to and say were positive investments that continue to bring revenue for us now and into the future. But there are also certainly some failures, right, that we can look at and say where and why that took place. If you borrow money, you have to service those debts. So part of what would be allocated, part of what will be allocated for our country in terms of expenditure would be debt financing. I'm hearing a kind of echo like if we're having some difficulty on the air. I'm not exactly sure, but it's just coming across that way. And if you don't service your debt, then you become blacklisted, so to speak. So you don't pay back. People get to know you as someone who does borrow and don't pay back. And they take action against you to recover, of course. But they also blacklist you. Right? Somehow they follow us countries, boy. Right? Or they absolute failure, or they would be on a blacklist, right? It is a projection as well. It is a projection into the year that is coming. So it is not set in stone. Many things are not set in stone. Usually you have a conservative projection as to what income will be based on a projection of what oil, based on a projection of what gas, which is essential to our economy now, will be. And that projection is what you calculate on coming in. It may be the case that over the period of time that changes. It can change positively or it can change negatively. The revenue can increase if there are global challenges to supply, and we have supply that is available. It may drive the price of that commodity upwards, and therefore we will benefit and have an increase, as we saw in the past with conflicts arising and oil prices, gas prices raising a bit. So there are projections that are subject to external international affairs as well. But most times they are safe projections that take into consideration minor fluctuations in either direction. It is a projection of that income, that revenue, and it is a projection of our expenditure, of our spending. we would be formulating our expenditure based on an assessment of what Trinidad and Tobago needs. So even for our current administration that just came out of an electoral process, they would put forward a mandate and put forward a proposed plan of action for Trinidad and Tobago. They would have promised certain directions and certain specific things as well that the population would then have listened to and agreed to some extent, for those who actually vote on the issues and vote on policy. But certainly it plays an important factor. And thus, whatever administration would have a certain level of responsibility to actualize those promises, to actualize those things that they have assessed as necessary and that the population would have communicated as necessary and desirable. So that is why there is such an interest in the formulation of the budget of itself. And that is why, particularly with a new administration as well, people are so anxious to hear the actualization of those policies, of those promises by an economic projection. Right? Talk is talk until you put money where your mouth is, so to speak. And talk is one thing, but we are sure that it is going to be manifested, or we have more confidence and we look forward to it being manifested, certainly if we see the allocations being placed within this budget. We have heard in the past how constrained we are by the level of recurring expenditure that we have. But the reality is bills have to be paid. Let me take the call. Good morning, caller. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Fuller. How are you, sir?
I'm alright, not too bad. You're hearing clear over the airways again,
Yeah, man, I'm hearing clear.
Alright, nice. Thanks.
Alright. Are you just dealing with the budget, or you could speak about anything else?
Feel free, brother. No problem.
Alright, so I just wanted to touch a little bit on the David Lee issue. I want to hear your view on that, in the sense of when someone that is in office and not necessarily does something. Well, in this case, it's not anything that is alleged. Where he is concerned, he was charged. I am wanting to know if the Honorable Prime Minister will ask him to step down until the situation clears up. I don't think it makes sense with him being in office or in the cabinet while this is hanging over his head. I saw examples with the situations with Marlene McDonald in the PNM, who was asked to step down. Mr. Khan and Mr. Eric William, they serve under the PNM, and they were asked to step down. And then we have the example with Mrs. Kamala Bissessa, when she told Jack Warner, go and clear your name and come back. So I'm asking you your view based on all of these examples. If you think, well, as far as I am concerned, I think that he should step down.
Right.
But I want to hear.
Based on those examples, and obviously, well, if there are other considerations that I might take into account as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much. Yeah. So that's another topical issue as well that has been raised in the public forum as well. And I know it has attracted a lot of conversation and attention. Mr. Lee, not to divert too much here, but I have no problem with engaging, especially the callers, if they have a specific interest as well. The particular instance is one where Mr. Lee would have been charged previously and would have been freed of the charge in the sense that there was a no-case submission that was upheld by the courts. And now, because the matter has been reviewed, it has been challenged by the DPP, appealed so to speak, and thus he has been re-arrested and rearraigned. Sorry, caller. Right? I think that there is this discretion by the Prime Minister that she has the ability to execute. I think she would carefully consider her actions past and the implications and effects. I think she would also consider the specific case as well, and the fact that he was previously exonerated, but now it is an appeal. And all of those factors would be carefully considered. I think she also took measures in her last period in office that she may not want to repeat because of the political implications. If you tell people to step back, he is obviously a member of parliament. It is utilized politically against you as well. And I think those considerations are what will formulate her decision. And I think she has given an indication of her position as well. Good morning, caller. A number of calls coming up at the same time, right? Go ahead, caller. Welcome.
I saw this morning you would be supporting your colleagues in Gaza celebrating a long-term peace. People say it's 1,000 years they're warring, and it takes one great man, not because you're white, but his policy and his ambitious, aggressive comments, and know what he could do. Today we are seeing peace in Gaza. I want to tell all the Gaza people, go back home and build a life. Israel is pulling out. Israel is pulling out. Go back home and build your life. Make Gaza great again. Where my grandchildren, my great-great-great-grandchildren, my children to come could say that they are leaving Trinidad and going to the beach in Gaza. We are going into a 5-star hotel in Gaza. I want to thank the Middle East, the goodly Muslims and them down there who understand that when we go to Dubai and see nice high-rising buildings and what the desert could make and what the desert could curate, these Muslims and them on money, not on war, and trying to dictate people life, and woman can't do this and woman can't do that and woman can't drive and this can't do that and that kind of, and puts it, no. Freedom is freedom. Life is life. And I'm so proud today that you call me Mini Trump because of Trump policy, not because he's a white man or he belongs to some group of racists or clan or people that be seen. His policy, no man should be playing in women's sports. It's something what I believe in. It's something what I would die for. No transgenders must be teaching man who have breasts and have baby must be teaching our children school. We must promote legal alien come to your country and get free health care. That's what we must support today. Trinidad and Tobago is burdened by Venezuelans coming here. In paying taxes, no taxes this country, you know. But they're using our hospital. They in our gas station. They're working taxi. They're damaging our economy. And we so hate a man for his policy that we are saying that let Venezuelans come here. Them don't like us. And I am so happy that the countries who you look up to and who you praise come to Trump. So what are we going to do now? Hear the country on him now who saying what Trump saying is right? Turkey, we know Turkey is a Muslim country. You don't Turkey is a Muslim country, and what they stand for. But they understand it's bread and butter. This is not about war. It's about peace. It's not about race. It's about human being. And anytime I see a racist born in Trump, I will say it. And you see me how people say, but Kamala racist, Kamala racist. 9 years, I never see a racist born in Kamala. I will say people who are wrong might be so. People who are wrong might be so. But you see now, I learned over the years, do not judge a book by the cover. Let's just then you open the book and you read and you understand the book. That is why I followed all Trump children, his wife, his family, and understand who is the man. Understand, you know, Obama children smoking and all kind of thing. I have the videos. You never had Trump family in Buckingham conflict and scandal yet. The children tell the story, and the children carry your legacy. And if your children cannot present themselves properly in the public, you know the kind of father you are. You know the kind of parents you are. So I am so happy this morning to call in here and tell Trinidad and Tobago, prepare the next 5 to 15 years that you could go to Gaza and feel comfortable and know that you could go in a restaurant and sit down and eat something. I said, let the cause be with David Lee. What go on, God? If the leader decided to keep David Lee as a minister, I support it. If the leader, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, decide to hold on to David Lee as a minister, I have no problem with it. Because, you know why? 9 years, PNM do all kind of thing. All kind of thing. Them don't have a senator who sit down there in Parliament who was charged. And are there anyone who said, look, this is senior. And we beg him to move him. We beg him to move him. He never moved him. We know Stuart Young, Faris, family, get millions and millions and millions of dollars. For the last 9 years, I asked the UNC, form an independent team, calling the international body, talk to Mark Rubio, talk to the Secretary of State, talk to the Attorney General Pam Bondi of America, get legal people, special people, AI people to come in here and go after Foster, go after your political opponents. This is why people couldn't get paid in the last few days, because your political opponents, their PNM, rehire the contract in the last election they go on in the last month. Many of them CEOs and chairmen and who are contract, they was renewed. I call on the UNC to look up your political opponents. Be brave, UNC. I call on you. Go after Rowley. Go after Stuart Young. Go after Faris. Go after the two attorney general. You have to go after them. Lock them up. Fighting on them. fine telling them, go after them. So I am saying this, the UNC must act. The UNC must act. And in a few years, I will be judging on the UNC on that. I will tell this country, you do not vote for the UNC. If no Scorpion get locked up, no Rowdy get locked up, follow the money. So I call on the UNC this morning to go after your political opponent. Go after bishops behind them. Go and take them down politically. Take them down politically. I gone.
Yeah. All right, man. Sometimes the conversation will be a little bit loaded, a lot to offload, right? On one hand, you can give support to what is taking place now, but then you also have to understand that the problem has been created and continued by administration after administration from the U.S., right? Good morning, caller.
Good morning, son.
Morning, Granny, morning.
Right now, all what I had to say, Kingsley said. Kingsley said, and I agree with what Kingsley said. That is truth, and that is right. And that's everything he said, I agree with. But I agree with this morning, and I agree with it very well. When the Attorney General was with PNM, he had big charges, and PNM keep him there, and not a PNM person come out to say nothing. So David Lear had them kind of charges, and David is not the Attorney General of the country, that he had to hold the country in hand. And he had do no charges like what that Attorney General had. And all them, the Chinese man said, daughter with the big coat thing, the drug boss, the Chinese man was still there. Nothing come out of that. You hear? The same DPP there, the two children with the old with guns in the hand on the edge. Nothing come out of that under the PNM. The Indian fellow was investigating the matter. How those two children get the okay to go and hold them guns. He dead. The man with a wife and a child. Nobody in the PNM find what happened there. That was worse. Where was the DPP? Where was the PNM DPP? You hear? It's bring down, they want to bring down the UNC. And PNM can't talk at all where I and Kingsley is on this matter. Thank you very much, son. He's a good boy. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mom. Ole start Granny this morning. Granny get heated. There's so much that has been fostered by the PNM in the past that really disables their ability to speak on the matter. But of course they will speak, and they have a responsibility to speak as well. I think given the specific circumstances of this matter, given where it was before and where it is currently, the Prime Minister is taking a certain stance, and that is to support Mr. Lee, as far as I've seen in the news. And I can understand that stance. I can understand it, and it is one that, in my mind, is reasonable. We understand the allegations. We understand what took place previously when the matter was before the courts, and we understand what has been taking place now to challenge that decision before. Good morning, Mr. West.
Morning, Mr. Watt. I think you on a very good path with respect to giving an exposition on the budget, you know, and very interesting. But there have been some digressions from it. And what I'm trying to disabuse the people's mind that when a person is charged, it doesn't mean that the person is guilty. It starts when you may charge a man based on probable or reasonable cause. That is a lower threshold. Then you move towards the question of this matter with where the court in the preliminary inquiry, where the threshold is sufficiency of evidence. And the fact remains that you have to prove, the prosecution has to prove the man's guilt beyond reasonable doubt. And which means that the prosecution, the jury, or whoever it is, must be sure, the judge, if it's right, before a single judge, must be sure that the man is guilty. So when I heard this gentleman yesterday, I was talking about his charge. A charge doesn't mean to say that you're guilty. It's an allegation which must be proved beyond reasonable doubt before a tribunal, which is the High Court. Right, based on the Indictable Offences Act, right? The Indictable Offences Act, yes. Right? So the fact remains that the notion, and don't sink it in the minds of the people, that because a man is charged, he is guilty, or there's some possibility that he committed the crime. A man, the presumption of innocence. And I referred yesterday in another program to the question, the Section 5 of the Constitution. The presumption of innocence. The fact remains, as you rightly said, Mr. Ford, the matter, the matter was, the local submission was upheld before the man was elected to his position as Member of Parliament, I think it's Caroni Central. Now he's in office, this matter, this whole question, the review took place, and the judge says, all right, she disagrees with the acting chief magistrate that there's insufficient evidence to send the matter to trial.
Yeah.
So people have to understand these things and don't go about propagating the kind of nonsense that I am hearing throughout the media, throughout the streets and all that kind of thing. Demand the presumption of innocence, and a person, and it's an allegation, and the prosecution must prove its case. If they have witnesses, the evidence, put forth the evidence. It may be written evidence, it may be documentary, it may be real evidence in terms of, right? It could be testimony from witnesses and whatnot. And these things have to be tested in the court. And as regards the man's innocence or guilt. So don't go around, and this is something that I've grown up with that in Trinidad, I only maxed all about. And what has happened also with respect to the precedent, with respect to whether in fact the man, there's nothing in the Constitution, there's nothing in law, not whether common law or legislation, which says that a minister, if he's charged, must in fact vacate office as a minister. Right? There's nothing there. It's up to as you said, it's the discretion, the prerogative of the Prime Minister. You have to understand that to remove him, and even though he's removed from his ministerial portfolio, he remains a member of Parliament. It is for the constituents to deal with that. So people have to understand and not be carried away with the nonsense being spewed all over the place. And one thing I don't take too much of your time, I heard a comment in terms of the political history or the constitutional history of Trinidad and Tobago with respect to that same thing about where people want to get fire and this one. But there have been inconsistency with that. At one time, yes, they could have served, and he drew one attention, and the media again, very manipulative, did not give everything that Ghani was saying. Because he said when Basil Pandey was installed as Prime Minister, what happened then was that Hassan Ali, this great former president, he's the only president I really regard, right? A great president. He appointed, despite Pandey having had allegations or charges with respect to some matter before the court, right? He was appointed as Prime Minister, and while during the course of his tenure, he was exonerated before the court. So I'm saying there's precedent, and there are others that they can draw on.
Yeah.
So this nonsense is not clear cut. and it is at the discretion of the Prime Minister. PNM is setting no standard for nobody in this country here. And the followers, those surrogates and minions, you can set standards for Trinidad and Tobago. Over the last 9 years, only destroy a whole society and economy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much as well. The matter in itself and its veracity would be looked at as well. The substance of it would be looked at as well. I am sure that there have been statements of caution to all parliamentarians as well as to the use of this provision that allows them to benefit from tax exemptions for vehicles, because as the substance of the charges as well, there have been a number of other parliamentarians who questions have arised around their purchases and resales and passing on whatever they deem it as of vehicles that were purchased without those taxes, substantial taxes as well, when it is accrued, right? Especially if it is expensive vehicles, and many of these parliamentarians have expensive tastes. Good morning, brother.
Good morning, good morning.
Hey, morning, welcome.
That caller that called you, that is my exact sentiments I was going to call and talk about this morning. Because I don't know if the law gone back to front now. You're guilty before proven innocent. And all these murky lagoons coming out now and talking with the bubblehead. You know, PNM looking for anything to discredit this government. You know, I sorry for Trinidad, you know. I sorry for Trinidad. Not only sorry for Trinidad, but sorry for PNM too. Because if we how they're moving like them little kettle on them. The man is innocent until proven guilty. He should stay in office until proven guilty. If proven guilty, he has to make a jail or wherever, so be it. And I also agree with Kingsley, Alwari and all of them. All of them should be out of office if they want to be out of office right now for the charges. So, thank you, caller, before. You said everything I wanted to say. Have a blessed morning.
Yeah, man. You too. So people weighing in on the David Lee issue. Again, I know that it would be considered carefully. I just put a general warning to parliamentarians, right? I know that exemption is very, very is beneficial economically, right? But ease it up. Ease it up a bit. If you have the money for a multi-million-dollar car, if you take it to that level in terms of your decency and morality, pay the taxes and things now. If you could afford a $3-4 million car, well, you pay the taxes so nobody even had to call all your name or anything. But pertaining to this particular matter as well, the Prime Minister has exercised her discretion, and I think the statement is that she is supporting her MP and her minister. Go ahead, brother. Morning.
Good morning, Fuad.
Hey, morning.
He come to pep up David Lee and them. Alongside the form with corruption, face the brunt of the law.
Yeah.
And corruption has mashed up the country.
Yeah.
Not so?
Of course, corruption.
You were saying,
no tolerance to corruption.
Harry and all of them PNM dynamite and them involving corruption. Why is the DPP bringing cases against them and arrest them?
Yeah.
So the matter with David Lee, right? It dismissing the magistrate court is like evidence. So the DPP sent it to the High Court. Because the Trump people find some evidence and send it to the High Court and investigating the matter. The law take its course. We ain't feeling sorry for them politicians, them, you know. Only stealing from the public person, you know. Arrest all of them. Poor blessed and Till tomorrow, meet again.
All right. Thank you very much, KFC. Yeah. We need to set high standards as well. And that's what you hear what I'm saying. I'm calling on all parliamentarians, and I'm sure the warning would have been issued to you all as well. Stay away as much as possible from that type of behavior. Morning, caller. Morning. Good morning, caller.
Morning.
Hey, morning, Prezi.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, God. And omni-existent God, truth. And to face truth is what we're supposed to do in this life. God is truth. We are existing, so let us face truth. Morality gone haywire in this society. And we've been talking internationally. Without morality, without that consciousness of the conscience to reality, is evil become dead. I don't care who say that whoever was there and they was chastised before and now they go back up the case and I don't want to know about that. And the first is that a representative shouldn't have nothing on his head if it's going up for representation. If you become a minister, you're supposed to be doing ministerial work. And if ministerial work is evil, well, then you're not supposed to be doing ministry. You see, all of us, each and everywhere, doing so much crime on the outside, on the inside, looking in the mirror and see yourself. And if it's time to start your follow, then you're following either a good or evil because you're going to see the society in you. Should I even know? No, it shouldn't be. Let me go to Israel. So that evil man be ruling still all over this time, but peace. Would there be peace if Israel still is in Palestine or is in the Middle East and doing things that, imagine, years ago they encouraged Israel to be Israel in Palestine. Now Palestine is having a land again because somebody come in and envy and cover it and whatever it is and take over it. People kill many, like how they kill many of us and have us in the Atlantic Ocean swimming underground. Is that peace? Would there be peace? Would there be peace, my people? Without justice, there will be no peace. Is there justice? All your good talking, all your conscience, and all your heart talk to all yourself. We fools in this life only dealing with evil and calling it good. We liars only lying and feeling that the truth is what we're talking. Look in the conscience of yourself. Watch nature and see how it operates. And if you're working as nature, then you're good. But if you're not working as nature, then you're evil. We deceptive, betrayal, bias, double standard. Every living moment, look in the mirror. And for you to see yourself. Thank you, Imam Fuad Abubakar.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trinidad and Tobago. Prove all yourself. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prezi. And we definitely need to be very cautious to look in that mirror ourselves. You know, I don't even like to digress into my own personal life too much, but I have had occasion when I have been accused of certain things and charged as well. and vindicated by the courts as well. It would be a loss to Trinidad and Tobago if my efforts were debarred in terms of representation because I was charged in the past, or I was charged even at that point for what is alleged against me. Because I could unequivocally say that the things that I have been charged for in the past, I have not been guilty of those things. And I understand the level of persecution that takes place within a society, especially if you stand against those who are in power or who are in office. It is a real circumstance that takes place. I could remember historically the barring of an individual from representing a constituency by charging him for obscene language, because the rules that existed within that political entity, that if you were charged you could not go up. Understand how evil the system is and how people utilize and manipulate the system against individuals. So forgive me if I err with some caution. Whatever loopholes exist in this provision that allows parliamentarians to have tax-free vehicles over whatever short period of time, because it's supposed to be a allocation over a period of time. Whatever loopholes exist, they fix the loopholes so that there isn't a leak, because it's a leak, because the accrued benefit, you're trying to prevent a monetary benefit to the parliamentarian by resale. Fix it. And as a standard, I ask all of them, Foster Fires, everybody, the new group, I don't know who buying Benz and what Mr. Sinan buy, I can't remember, AMG, Maybach, $4 million. Y'all are tremendous businessmen. The other side, and there are some businessmen also in this particular government as well, some who have been asked to get involved in politics, right, as senators, and obviously leading business in different aspects, who are necessary to a certain extent and who we thank for their service, right? But they have others who endless money, and still they lean to take these benefits of exemption for vehicles that are luxurious in the least. Clean it up, all come on. In what you all were calling difficult times as well, in what Trinidad experienced, and by your advocacy to Trinbagonians to curb, to cut back, to tighten belt, to coal pot, to ride bicycle, to whatever, in that same time and space, you all were maximizing on the purchase of luxury vehicles and benefiting from, which means taking away from the ability of spending for Trinidad and Tobago average citizens millions of dollars. So just clean it up. Clean it up. You have the money, you have $3 million to import a vehicle. Pay the $1 million extra in tax. Pay the $1 million extra. So I understand the particular case. I understand how victimization and political persecution takes place in Trinidad and Tobago also, And I feel the Prime Minister has used her discretion based on the initial no case submission and the matter being thrown out against Mr. Lee. And that is why he is in the responsibility that he is in now. And I feel comfortable in this particular matter with him continuing in that role, working for Trinidad and Tobago. If it was different circumstances, I could understand. So there's going to be a lot of conversation around it, and Trinidad and Tobago is entitled to that conversation, and it is important to keep those people who represent us on their P's and their Q's. And it is the role and responsibility and the expectation that government opposition will, anywhere they can attack, they will attack. That's fine. So, understand the entire context around the matter in the formulation of your opinion. I don't have much sympathy for politician either, KFC. I understand what you're saying too. But I also understand the context and what is being done and the efforts that are being made to undermine what is taking place as well. And we all understand that. That is part of the political process in Trinidad and Tobago. We look forward, as I digress significantly from where I was, we look forward to a budget that is about the people of Trinidad and Tobago. A budget that is not set up to afford the opportunity for plundering or the rich to get richer. We look forward to a budget that takes into consideration the challenges that the people facing. That don't have no big allocation and is not going to increase the remuneration of those on the top, but that will be geared towards meeting the needs of the wider society and the poor and the working class. And that is what we look forward to and support. The priority for our spending in Trinidad and Tobago should be the poor, should be the working class, should be alleviating the strains of inflation. And I can recall, I don't forget the bigger issues while we're looking at the smaller issues as well, and we are clear on our perspectives as to what is right and what is wrong. I could recall carefully, our short-term Prime Minister, Mr. Young, taking a platform and attempting to speak on the bread and butter issues of Trinbagonians, attempting to speak about grocery prices and the increases, and sounding extremely out of his depth. I could recall moving from 0.01 up to 0.05% right before an election. I could recall that for public servants. I could recall no forex, just pressure, whatever, and all of a sudden Exim Bank having an allocation for small businesses put in place just around that period as well. And we, not just me, we have to be focused. We have to be focused on where we want Trinidad and Tobago to go. and we look at that bigger picture for Trinidad and Tobago, and not be bogged down by smaller issues that, yes, are issues and that will be raised by the opposition in their attempt to regain office, with people who are not in a position to speak. Maybe Ms. Beckles could talk, and even herself, they have certain things that have been said in the public space. The utilization of the police service and influences therein to go after some people but not go after others, to put priority in prosecuting and persecuting certain individuals for political gain. There must be an end to that. There must be greater independence in our police service. And there must be this presumption of evidence in the understanding that persecution does take place politically. But in general, on behalf of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, clean it up. And we look forward to an administration where we have a Prime Minister who has indicated her unequivocal strength in terms of curtailing the actions of Cabinet. She has spoken on it already. And we are happy that she is taking this strong position in terms of the course that this Cabinet, these people who are supposed to work for us, are going to take. And that is phenomenal compared and sufficient for me at this point in time. Let us aim towards the macro. Let us look forward to our budget to realize what is actually possible for us as a people, which we thought wasn't even possible before, which we were told was not possible. Let's look forward to some alleviation of the pressures that exist and have existed for some time. All right, so we'll be back, God willing, tomorrow, and we'll continue to speak on the budget a bit. And of course, the people are in charge of this program as well, so whatever other issue is raised as well. Blessings to Trinidad and Tobago. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
With us, Micah 6:8 says, He has shown you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justly, to love, have mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Your financial support through the First Citizens Bank would be greatly appreciated. Account number 795222.